Okay, but now we are recording. I'm not going to go repeat what I said. Somebody else, they'll just have to go find a new video, okay? or a previous video or a future video when I'm talking about all this. Just point out we have a Facebook group that coincides. Come join us. We'll be happy to have you. It's a place where things get archived. It's a place where if you attend a meeting and you really liked it, you can come back and review that day. Or let's say you're with us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. For some reason you can't make it on Thursday, but you're with us Friday. You could go back to Thursday and catch up on what you missed out on. Okay, the next thing I want to point out is what we're in the process of going through right now. So we've been going since November 5th, and we're going to continue to go. We're here Monday through Friday at the same time, okay? We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to about 10:45 or 11 Pacific Standard Time. So I'm over here in the San Diego area. So that's the time. Wherever you are, just know that whatever time you got on today, that's the time to come back, okay? But I want to let you know that we're here every Monday through Friday. Even with holidays, we tend to be here. At least I was. There's only been one day in the 3+ months we've been together that I had to take off to do something special with my family. So other than that, though, we're here to support you and help you out. We've gone through a lot of material that helps people manifest more money and wealth into their lives. And currently we're going through a book. It's called The Game of Life. It's by Florence Skovel Shinn. The Game of Life by Florence Skovel Shinn. And I have I have a Kindle copy. I have an Audible copy of my own. And I've read this book several times, multiple times, even within the last year. It's a great, great book. And when we go through something, if I can find a free version for you, I find it. And then I use that one to share with the group. That way we can all have the same one. And I did find a free version. I just typed in The Game of Life by Florence Skovel Shinn, PDF, and multiple things popped up. I scrolled down, I clicked on a few of them. And the one I liked the best was this one. So you go, if you type in The Game of Life, Florence Skovel Shinn PDF, look for where it says The Game of Life, and then there's a comma by Florence Skovel Shinn, then there's a dash, then it says free ebook, and it's from the website www.globalgrayebooks.com, and here it says game-of-life-ebook. Click on it, and here's what'll happen. It will bring you to this page. When you're on this page, what I did is I read a little bit, but I kept scrolling down, and bam, I just clicked the PDF button. And when I clicked the PDF button, what popped up for me is, hold on a second here, is this right here. Now, it didn't bring me to this page. It actually brought me to page 1. We're actually on 65. We might even finish this up today. This is page 61 of the book, but 65 of the file. It'll bring you to the first page, which is the cover page. Okay, here's the cool thing. I didn't have to put in name or email to do any of that. And I just went ahead and used my save function and saved it onto my computer, which you could save it onto your computer or your phone or your tablet or whatever, so that you have the exact same copy to follow along with this if you like to, okay? If not, or if you want to go get it later, that's fine. I'm going to keep my screen share on for a little bit here as we go through some of this, so you can just follow along through screen share for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading where we left off yesterday. So here's how this functions. You are going to have time, if you like to share what you like to share and ask whatever questions you like to ask. We definitely love having interaction, and people tend to do very well with the interaction. It seems to be, for some people, it's their favorite part. Just depends on what we're doing, okay? You'll get the opportunity to do that. However, if you type into chat and you're trying to grab my attention right now, I'll be honest with you, I don't pay attention to chat. What we do is we leave 10, 15 minutes or so towards the end of what we're doing, sometimes a little bit longer, for you to be able to ask whatever questions you want to ask and share whatever it is that you want to share. So if there's something that you want to talk about or a question that you have about what we're going through, bring it up at that point. What we'll do is we'll be out of screen share. We will come off of mute and give you the opportunity to do that. All right. next thing I want to point out is this book was written a while ago, and Florence is no longer actually with us. And so she speaks a little bit differently than we do, okay? Which is totally fine, but I just want you to understand that so that you know where she's coming from. And why did we choose this book? A lot of you have been asking, you've learned a lot about how to manifest money and wealth in your life, and you're also asking, you recognize that, you know what, in order to reprogram your subconscious mind and to get what you want, the use of affirmations or auto-suggestion, which is essentially the same thing, are definitely a helpful part of the process. What I love about this book is Florence shares definitely different ideas, but what I like the best is she shares real people's stories and gives exactly what it was that they were saying and doing. So shares the real stories and shares what they were saying or doing to get the results that they got, which will give you ideas to be able to do the same. So that's why we chose to go through this. And again, we're close to finishing this particular book up, okay? Um, the other thing I would say is you may or may not hear the words money today and wealth and all that outside of my mouth in the book. Why is that? Florence has talked about money and wealth frequently, but they also talk about health, talk about relationships and whatnot. Basically, talk about anything that we're able to manifest in our lives and how people did it. So I want you to understand that the principles that are being shared, if not the specific examples, can absolutely help you manifest more money in your life. So I just wanted to get that out of the way in case some of you are like, hey, why weren't there any specific examples today of money and wealth? I truthfully don't know if there will be in this today. There may be several or there may be none, but it is all applicable to manifesting, okay? So denials and affirmations. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. All the good that is to be made manifest in man's life is already an accomplished fact in divine mind, and and is released through man's recognition or spoken word. So he must be careful to decree that only the divine idea be made manifest, for often he decrees through his idle words failure or misfortune. Okay, I'm going to go back and reread what I read, share some emphasis with you, but this is important stuff. So, thou shalt, this is a quote, thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Okay, you're the one that's putting it out there, and you're the one that is causing it to happen. All the good that is to be made manifest in man's or woman's, okay, life is already an accomplished fact in divine mind and is released through man's recognition or spoken word. So he or she must be careful to decree that only the divine idea be made manifest. For often he or she decrees through his or her idle words failure or misfortune. It is therefore of the utmost importance to word one's demands correctly, as stated in a previous chapter. If one desires a home, friend, position, or any other good thing, make the demand for the divine selection. For example, Infinite Spirit, open the way for my right home, my right friend, my right position. I give thanks it now manifests under grace in a perfect way. The latter part of the statement is most important. For example, I knew a woman who demanded $1,000. Her daughter was injured and they received $1,000 indemnity. So it did not come in a perfect way. The demand should have been worded in this way: Infinite Spirit, I give thanks that the $1,000, which is mine by divine right, is now released and reaches me under grace in a perfect way. As one grows in financial consciousness, he should demand that the enormous sums of money, which are his by divine right, reach him under grace in perfect ways. So again, as one grows in financial consciousness, He should demand that the enormous sums of money, which are his by divine right, reach him under grace in perfect ways. It is impossible for man to release more than he thinks is possible. For one is bound by the limited expectancies of the subconscious. He must enlarge his expectancies in order to receive in a larger way. Let me repeat this. It is impossible for man or woman to release more than he or she thinks is possible. For one is bound by the limited expectancies of the subconscious. He or she must enlarge his expectancies, his or her expectancies, in order to receive in a larger way. Man so often limits himself in his demands. For example, a student made the demand for $600 by a certain date. He did receive it, but heard afterwards that he came very near receiving $1,000, but he was given just 600 as the result of his spoken word. They limited the Holy One of Israel. Wealth is a matter of consciousness. The French have a legend giving an example of this. A poor man was walking along a road when he met a traveler who stopped him and said, "My good friend, I see you are poor. Take this gold nugget, sell it, and you will be rich all your days." The man was overjoyed at his good fortune and took the nugget home. He immediately found work and became so prosperous that he did not sell the nugget. Years passed, and he became a very rich man. One day, he met a poor man on the road. He stopped him and said, "My good friend, I will give you this gold nugget, which, if you sell, will make you rich for life." The mendicant took the nugget, had it valued, and found it was only brass. So we see the first man became rich through feeling rich, thinking the nugget was gold. Every man has within himself a gold nugget. It is in his consciousness of gold, of opulence, which brings riches into his life. In making his demands, man begins at the journey's end. That is, he declares he has already received. Before ye call, I shall answer. Continually affirming establishes the belief in the subconscious. Let me repeat, continually affirming establishes the belief in the subconscious. Let me repeat, continually affirming establishes the belief in the subconscious. It would not be necessary to make an affirmation more than once if one had perfect faith. One should not plead or supplicate, but give thanks repeatedly that he or she has received. Let me repeat that. One should not plead or supplicate, but give thanks repeatedly that he or she has received. The desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. This rejoicing, which is yet in the desert, state of consciousness, opens the way for release. The Lord's Prayer is in the form of command and demand. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and ends in praise. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Concerning the works of my hands, command ye me. So prayer is command and demand, praise and thanksgiving. The student's work is in making himself believe that with God, all things are possible. This is easy enough to state in the abstract, but a little more difficult when confronted with a problem. For example, it was necessary for a woman to demonstrate a large sum of money within a stated time. She knew she must do something to get a realization, for realization is manifestation, and she demanded a lead. She was walking through a department store when she saw a very beautiful pink enamel paper cutter. She felt the pull towards it. The thought came, I haven't a paper cutter good enough to open letters containing large checks. So she bought the paper cutter, which the reasoning mind would have called an extravagance. When she held it in her hand, she had a flash of a picture of herself opening an envelope containing a large check. And in a few weeks, she received the money. The pink paper cutter was her bridge of active faith. Many stories are told of the power of the subconscious when directed in faith. For example, a man was spending the night in a farmhouse. The windows of the room had been nailed down, and in the middle of the night, he felt suffocated and made his way in the dark to the window. He could not open it, so he smashed the pane with his fist, drew in draughts of fine, fresh air, and had a wonderful night's sleep. The next morning, he found he had smashed the glass of a bookcase, and the window had remained closed during the whole night. He had supplied himself with oxygen simply by his thought of oxygen. When a student starts out to demonstrate, he or she should never turn back. Let not that man who wavers think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A student once made this powerful statement: when I ask the Father for anything, I put my foot down and I say, Father, I'll take nothing less than I've asked for, but more. And I like to say this or something better. So man should never compromise. Having done all, stand. This is sometimes the most difficult time of demonstrating. The temptation comes to give up, to turn back, to compromise. He also serves who only stands and waits. Demonstrations often come at the 11th hour because man then lets go. That is, stops reasoning, and infinite intelligence has a chance to work. Demonstrations often come at the 11th hour because man then lets go. That is, stops reasoning, and infinite intelligence has a chance to work. Demonstrations often come at the 11th hour because man then lets go, that is, stops reasoning, and infinite intelligence has a chance to work. It doesn't have to take till the 11th hour. It does not. Why does it take till the 11th hour? Because man then lets go, that is, stops reasoning, and infinite intelligence has a chance to work. Man's dreary desires are answered drearily, and his impatient desires long delayed or violently fulfilled. For example, a woman asked me why it was that she is constantly losing or breaking her glasses. We found she often said to herself and others with vexation, I wish I could get rid of my glasses. So her impatient desire was violently fulfilled. What she should have demanded was perfect eyesight. But what she registered in the subconscious was simply the impatient desire to be rid of her glasses. So they were continually being broken or lost. Two attitudes of mind cause loss: depreciation, as in the case of the woman who did not appreciate her husband. This goes back to the other day, or fear of loss, which makes a picture of loss in the subconscious. So here we go. There's the two attitudes of mind that cause the loss. You either stop appreciating what you got, or you fear losing something. When a student is able to let go of his or her problem, cast his or her burden, he or she will have instantaneous manifestation. For example, a woman was out during a very stormy day and her umbrella was blown inside out. She was about to make a call on some people whom she had never met, and she did not wish to make her first appearance with a dilapidated umbrella. She could not throw it away as it did not belong to her. So in desperation, she exclaimed, "Oh God, you take charge of this umbrella. I don't know what to do." A moment later, a voice behind her said, "Lady, do you want your umbrella mended?" There stood an umbrella mender. She replied, "Indeed, I do." The man mended the umbrella while she went into the house to pay her call. and when she returned, she had a good umbrella. So there is always an umbrella mender at hand on man's or woman's pathway when he or she puts the umbrella or situation in God's hands. One should always follow a denial with an affirmation. For example, I was called on the phone late one night to treat a man whom had never seen. He was apparently very ill. I made the statement, I deny this appearance of disease. It is unreal, therefore cannot register in his consciousness. This man is a perfect idea in divine mind, pure substance expressing perfection. There is no time or space in divine mind. Therefore, the word reaches instantly its destination and does not return void. I have treated patients in Europe and have found that the result was instantaneous. I'm asked so often the difference between visualizing and visioning. Visualizing is a mental process governed by the reasoning or conscious mind. Visioning is a spiritual process governed by intuition or the superconscious mind. The student should train his or her mind to receive these flashes of inspiration and work out the divine pictures through definite leads. When a man or woman can say, I desire only that which God desires for me, his false desires fade from the consciousness, and a new set of blueprints is given him by the master architect, the God within. God's plan for each man transcends the limitation of the reasoning mind and is always the square of life, containing health, wealth, love, perfect self-expression. Many a man is building for himself in imagination a bungalow when he or she should be building a palace. Let me repeat this. God's plan for each man or woman transcends the limitation of the reasoning mind and is always the square of life, containing health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Many a man or woman is building for him or herself in imagination a bungalow when he or she should be building a palace. If a student tries to force a demonstration through the reasoning mind, he brings it to a standstill. I will hasten it, saith the Lord. He should act only through intuition or definite leads. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently. Trust also in him, and he will bring it to pass. I've seen the law work in the most astonishing manner. For example, a student stated that it was necessary for her to have $100 by the following day. It was a debt of vital importance which had to be met. I spoke the word, declaring spirit was never too late and that the supply was at hand. That evening, she phoned me of a miracle. She said that the thought came to her. So here comes her inspiration, revelation, intuition. She said that the thought came to her to go to her safety deposit box at the bank to examine some papers. She looked over the papers, and at the bottom of the box was a new $100 bill. She was astounded, and she said she knew she had never put it there, for she had gone through the papers many times. It may have been a manifestation as Jesus Christ materialized the loaves and fishes. Man will reach the stage where his word is made flesh or materialized instantly. The fields ripe with the harvest will manifest immediately, as in all the miracles of Jesus. There is a tremendous power alone in the name of Jesus Christ. It stands for truth made manifest. He said, whatsoever ye ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. The power of this name raises the student into the fourth dimension, where he is freed from all astral and psychic influences and becomes unconditioned and absolute, as God himself is unconditioned and absolute. I've seen many healings accomplished by using the words in the name of Jesus Christ. Christ was both person and principle, and the Christ within each man is his Redeemer and salvation. The Christ within is his own fourth dimensional self. the man made in God's image and likeness. This is the self which has never failed, never known sickness or sorrow, was never born, and has never died. It is the resurrection and the life of each man. No man cometh unto the Father save by the Son. Means that God, the universal, working on the place of the particular, becomes the Christ in man. And the Holy Ghost means God in action. So daily, man is manifesting the Trinity of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Man should make an art of thinking. The master thinker is an artist and is careful to paint only the divine designs upon the canvas of his mind. And he paints these pictures with masterly strokes of power and decision. Having perfect faith that there is no power to mar their perfection, and that they shall manifest in his life the ideal made real. All power is given man through right thinking to bring his heaven upon his earth, and this is the goal of the game of life. Okay. The rules, or the simple rules, are fearless faith, non-resistance, and love. May each reader now be freed from that thing which has held him or her in bondage through the ages, standing between him and his own, and know the truth which makes him free, free to fulfill his destiny, to bring into manifestation the divine design of his life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And here's some different affirmations that can be used. Love it. There's some examples here. For prosperity, God is my unfailing supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly under grace in perfect ways. For right conditions, every plan my Father in heaven has not planned shall be dissolved and dissipated, and the divine idea now comes to pass. Another one for right conditions, only that which is true of God is true of me, for I and the Father are one. For faith, as I am one with God, I am one with my good, for God is both the giver and the gift. I cannot separate the giver from the gift. For right conditions, divine love now dissolves and dissipates every wrong condition in my mind, body, and affairs. Divine love is the most powerful chemical in the universe and dissolves everything which is not of itself. For health, divine love floods my consciousness with health, and every cell in my body is filled with light. For eyesight, my eyes are God's eyes. I see with the eyes of spirit. I see clearly the open way. There are no obstacles on my pathway. I see clearly the perfect plan. For guidance, I am divinely sensitive to my intuitive needs and give instant obedience to thy will. For hearing, my ears are God's ears. I hear with the ears of spirit. I am non-resistant and am willing to be led. I hear glad tidings of great joy. For right work, I have a perfect work in a perfect way. I give perfect service for perfect pay. For freedom from all bondage, I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. All right. That is the end of this. So here we are. Good to see that some more of you have joined us since we got started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. And let's see, we have anybody who's not been here before? Maybe. Okay. Well, here's our time to share, and here's our time to ask questions. So the way that this works, as far as sharing, is anything that you would like to share in relationship to manifesting more money and wealth in your life that you've done successfully, please feel free to share that. And or anything that you've done to manifest anything at all good in your life that has come to pass, you're okay to share that. The other thing you could share is anything related to what we've studied up until now or what we went over today. And then questions about what? Again, questions about what it is that we've gone over in the past or what we went over today. and or any question is fair game in relationship to manifesting more money and wealth in your life. So this is your time to share or ask questions or do both. All you have to do is come off mute and start sharing what you want to share, and then we'll take you in the order that you do that. All right, ready, set, go. Are we going to play the silent game?
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Everett.
I just wanted to discuss a way of thinking. Since we've been studying these books and things, I think the old me, which I think that you have helped through your guidance, I generally like get into these projects like I'm doing with the real estate and virtual assistants. I panic out sometimes and I try to do too much, but I see myself calming down, which is helping. But now I got I don't want to be pushing it too hard, but I was speaking to another virtual assistant and I had a good feeling about the way they talk and everything. So I'm considering getting a second one.
Okay.
I don't know. You think and from what we do, maybe am I pushing it too much? I have a good feeling about it. But in the other virtual assistant, I am helping her. She's doing a lot better. She's getting calls.
Okay.
I guess maybe the area she was calling in, they were just so rude to her.
Okay.
I heard it on the recording, but now, yeah, I think the negative. When we say negativity,
it
was hidden. Yeah, I took her to a suburban neighborhood, and she seemed more comfortable. She's like, "Oh, thank you. I really like this list." So it's amazing how positive and good areas, and she's doing a lot better.
Awesome. So essentially what you're saying is, hey, I've got one, she's doing better, things are moving, got her better trained, I'm happy with what's going on. However, I've also now been introduced to somebody else that feels real good, and they probably get it right from the get-go. Should I do both, or should I get rid of one, or what, or what is it that should I do?
I'm thinking both.
Well, I think you already actually said it earlier, because what you said is I feel really good about. The only thing is you're talking about pushing. Well, I don't think you're pushing. I think you're being guided. You know what pushing feels like, because this came easily, didn't it?
It did.
The second person, it came easily. You weren't pushing. You were in the right vibration. So that's not pushing. Just being able to do more is a gift from God in the universe saying, oh, you're on track now, and I can give you more help because you're going to need more help because you can handle more. And the only reason you can handle more, it's not because the other girl's doing better now. You might think that's why you can handle more. The reason you can handle more is because you let God help you out with what you couldn't handle in the first place. As long as you let God in the universe take the lead, I always refer to God as my life partner and my business partner. And so I try to see and feel God in that manner. Therefore, that's how we work with each other. I talk with him before I get on with you guys almost every single day in the morning, or at least some point in the morning. And he's the senior partner, actually. I'm the junior partner, but he's the senior partner that wants me to be ready to take over the business someday, so to speak. Not necessarily in this life, but again, I feel that we're going to progress and progress and progress. And I believe that he's showing me how he would do it at the speed that I'm capable of picking it up. And as long as I'm willing to let him be the guide of what I'm doing, then he's going to send all the help that I need when I need it, as long as it's, divine guidance versus me just making up my own mind that, hey, you know what, I need to do this. Now, it's fine for me to come up with my own ideas too. God's cool with that. Matter of fact, God is very happy about that. He would just, since we are business partners, think of your life that way, life partner, business partner, right? Well, since he and I are business partners, when I come up with an idea, before I go implement it, if I've got a senior partner available that has much more experience than I have, is way more successful than I've been, think of him as kind of the chairman of the board and me as the CEO of the company. Well, if I've got the opportunity to ask him, I probably should. He's not going to withhold. Occasionally, he's going to do exactly what I just did to you, though, to say, what do you think? And it sounds to me like you already know. And sometimes that's all I need from God, is just that, that thumbs up in the sky that says, yep, Kevin, you're on track. Go for it. I think you're going the right direction. At least that's the vibe I'm getting right now. Now, that doesn't mean if she struggles or this other person struggles that you made the wrong choice. Okay. Right. But the vibe that you're in right now has attracted something good. Don't get in the way of it.
Thank you. I want to say one thing. I think what all these books has done to me, I think I've never felt led. A lot of time I always think this is what I want to do, I'm going to do it. But I never felt a intuitive feel for this is where I belong and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is like one of the first times I've got into like a real business and I feel led, like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do these assistants, work with them, grow this business.
Maybe everybody else can hear you. I lost your audio for a moment.
Okay. I don't know if everybody can hear me, but I say, yeah, basically I said it's the first time of really feeling led through going through all these books. And I kind of feel
Awesome.
intuitive where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's a good feeling. I say, and I don't know, it's never been me. I've always kind of like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, but I never felt led into now. And I said, it must be Kevin, it's the books, something
Well,
to another level.
it's God in the universe, but yeah, he just used us as tools to help you get what you want. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Totally. It's good to hear that. I love it. I love it. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? I know sometimes you hold back just because you're like, oh, I don't want to step on somebody else. When you're given an opportunity, take it. What I could do every day is say that, give you 3 seconds, and then sign off if nobody's going to talk.
Hi, Kevin. Oh,
okay.
Go ahead.
We'll go Sunshine, and then we'll go Rika. Sunshine, take it away.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Awesome.
That's great. I just wanted to say that this selection, this portion really spoke to me. It was very spot on in regards to a few things that I'm going through, and just the reminder to continue to affirm and continue to thank God in the universe for what's to come, and also to watch what we say and realizing that our words are saying. Be very mindful of your speech.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, Rika.
Kevin, there's something I've struggled with for months. Actually, it goes way back before then, but way on my mind on what I want to do.
Okay.
You remember a while back, you told me not to be so fixated on income coming from the network marketing. My background. I woke up this morning and I've been struggling with a decision on what to do.
Okay.
And I woke up this morning and I just came to a decision on the direction I'm going to take.
Okay.
Now, is it a decision that's guided? I don't know. How do you know?
Well, okay. So first of all, let's talk about what instead of being generic about it, be specific. What happened?
Well, years ago, I bought a copywriting course.
Okay.
That one that probably everybody has gotten, that letter that I got. But that letter really got my attention. And I thought, you know what? I think there's something to it. because I'd been kind of following AWAI to begin with.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I started the course and then got busy and it went by the wayside. I'd start over months later and I'd get busy and there it goes by the wayside again. So finally I just said, forget it. I
Uh-huh.
just couldn't seem to go through to completion with it.
Okay.
But I've had it on my mind forever.
Uh-huh.
And I started thinking, okay, I'm not going to go back to reporting. It would not be financially a worthwhile investment to do that at my age.
Okay.
So it's not something I'm going to do, and I really don't want it anymore.
Okay.
But this weighs on my mind. And
Okay.
I thinking, okay,
So let's,
I-
okay, so I can fast forward enough now.
Okay.
So what was your decision this morning?
I decided to finish.
And right when you start talking, my audio goes down again. Darn it. I bet everybody else can hear you.
I decided
There you
to
go.
finish the course.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I've done about a third of it, and I think I'm going to really hunker down on it and get it done within this next couple weeks. And I'm going to take their test and I'm going to get their certification. And I'm also going to use it for the marketing. And that's where my real appeal is to use it for SEO. Because then I could write for our team to optimize the search engine, but I can also then start using it to create some income so that I can more easily, do the marketing. Because you and I know that unless you're one of the extremely lucky people, it's not going to be an overnight thing.
Oh, it's not luck. I promise you. I've done it. I've done it and I didn't succeed, and I've done it and I was the best person in the state of Arizona. So, and that was not luck. When you're talking about direct sales, something similar to network marketing, I've done it and totally bombed it. But then many years down the road, did something specific and totally killed it. And then I thought, well, I must just, now I'm good at this stuff, and took something else that didn't work out as well. So I will tell you, but the one I took and said, oh, I'll just do great. I was inspired to do the one I killed it at. I wasn't inspired to do the one that I didn't. So that just goes to say that God knows us way better than we do. What I think is happening right here, Rika, which I think is awesome, is you're not even aware of this right now. It reminds me of me. You're now being led down a path to do something that I think is going to come more naturally for you. Keep your channels open still. That doesn't, again, mean you won't do network marketing or you won't be involved with the company you're involved with. I know copywriters out there that become phenomenal with using words in written form and speaking form that end up becoming marketers for other businesses and companies, or even their own, that make millions of dollars. Now, some make, most of them don't make millions, but it doesn't matter. If this is your gift, you'll make way more money than you probably would selling whatever type of product you're trying to sell, because it'll come naturally. And I'm going to share something with you guys right now about me. I'm here, Coach Kevin, right? Well, I can't kind of self-proclaimed coach in some ways, but I mean, I got some training and whatnot. But here's the deal. People have come to me for years for advice and coaching and whatever. I just didn't make it a profession, even though it came naturally. And I've been told over and over and over and over that I should, particularly by my wife, because she saw other things I did. And even though I was having success, she's like, when you're totally in your flow and you're killing it, is when you're doing what it is that you're doing right now. If people will actually listen to you and do what you say, and it's not Kevin because it's what you're saying, but you have the ability to read what's going on, and you're like spot on, like 99.99. There's that 0.1% maybe that I can't. But when people listen to me as a coach and do what I say, the ones that follow through with that, every one of those people that I've ever worked with that will actually follow through with what I share with them have phenomenal results. And they're always shocked that they didn't quite get it until I helped them. But once I helped them, they succeeded. Well, I took years. I should have been doing what I'm doing right now. I should have been doing this 20 years ago. I already had the gifts and talents that God gave me. They needed to be developed. And so what I'm saying, Rika, is this: you have some gifts, talents, and abilities that if you quit trying to shove things through the channels you're picking and you let God guide you to use those talents, skills, and abilities in the way he knows is best, he might change your path, and you got to be open to a change in that path. I quit what I was doing to do the coaching I'm doing right now. I actually quit working kind of like Bob Proctor did. I wasn't up at $1 million, but I quit doing something that was paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Because this is my gift. And ultimately, not just the money, I'll make more. I'm already doing pretty well with this, but I know it's going to go above and beyond. And this is so much more effortless for me because I'm listening to God and I'm letting God lead this. It's God's business. He's the chairman. I'm the CEO, but he's the chairman. Let God be chairman of your board. Let him be your business partner. Tell him what you want as end results, but quit trying to tell him, and this goes for everybody, what channels to send it through. And he will make it so much easier for you to receive your good that you'll be like, why have I been working my butt and my brains off for so long?
Yeah. I do think this is your talent, Kevin. You're good.
Thank you.
And I just have this instinctive something in me that tells me that I'm going to hold on to you. If that makes sense, you know what I mean.
Okay.
I just have a feeling our path is not going to end as of yet.
Well, I'm not going anywhere, so I hope not.
I know, but I think I'm going to tap in more, and I think it's going to work all around. I think, okay, what if the networking does also work, and I have the two branches, that I can actually do more with that to help other people. That's the thing.
And I'm not, and I'm not negative network marketing like some people might be. That's not my point. My whole point of this is I do run in that. I've done it too. People that are involved with network marketing, if they really, really do like the company or the product or whatever, will get very enamored with what's going on, which is fine. You want to be totally about whatever it is you're promoting and selling and doing, but almost to the exclusion of being able to receive that revelation, intuition, and inspiration again. Because now we've made up our mind it has to come through this, and we don't want to let people down that are around us because they took the time to sponsor us and put their time and energy into us and train us and all this stuff. And we see these people doing, succeeding or whatever. And sometimes we will kick at that for a long time when other opportunities are being brought to our face, but we can't see them because we got blinders on, because God is saying, hey, you asked me for a house, it's over here. You asked me for a car, it's over there. You asked me for a stable income that more than meets the lifestyle that you want, it's over here. And you're like, you don't see those things. I don't mean you personally, Rita, but people don't see those things sometimes because they're dead set on shoving it all through that one channel. When God says, look, imagine TV today. Okay, go back many years. Some of us are old enough when we just kind of had TV and the channels that were on there, and we had a dozen or so. Okay, but God is Netflix. God's the internet, right? Now God can give us, we don't have to tune into one channel to receive everything. God is saying, look, I got a channel for every human being on this planet, and I've got more than one. Just let me decide the channel. You tell me what you would like to have, and then confer with me if it's for your highest and best good, and ask for this or something better so that you're not so tied up in knots about it that it has to be this. And if this is the right thing, I'll bring it to you. And if this is not the right thing, I'll go ahead and give you something better so you'll be totally glad that you didn't get what you thought you wanted.
Yeah. I feel perfectly comfortable with if the decision should come that I need to back out of this, I feel perfectly comfortable doing it because this team, they are the most amazing team I've come across. And I've been in different things with different products and different teams, and I've seen a lot of what goes on in these teams. I would feel no compunction with the people if I bring people in and they want it, that I back out, that they're going to fall on their face, because they won't unless they choose to.
Yep.
This team is really good, and I don't feel any of those feelings like, oh, I can't leave because I owe anybody something. I just don't feel that. The manner of how these people operate, they're amazing people. And there's a real opportunity in this company, whether it's for me or not. If somebody else decides it is because I showed it to them, that's great. Run, run.
Yeah. I
But
still,
I might need to run
yeah.
somewhere else.
I still tell people about the company that taught me about real estate investing. That's just not what my focus is. And I worked it out, so I no longer actually get paid, even if I do.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. So thanks for
You
sharing.
know,
Thanks for sharing.
can I just tell you one more thing real quick? Part of what drove me to this decision is I was starting to search around, and I remember I told you about the writer's works.
Uh-huh.
Well, I started communicating with that person because he actually has the AWAI certification, and he showed it to me in Messenger. And just showing me different things and just chatting kind of began giving me a feeling of how that world operates if you don't have some real credibility behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That you're really going to scramble and take tidbits of this and that and everything. And yeah, you could make money doing that, but you're going to hustle, right? You're going to really hustle when you work that way. And I'm just not that hustle type. So that is part of what gave me the feeling that, Rika, get that certification, just get it, because then people are not going to question you so much. Just like with the court reporting license,
Uh-huh.
they don't question your credibility. If they see you're licensed, that's all they need to know about you.
Yep.
So that's part of it, what made
Yeah.
me decide I need to finish that course, and then I'll see where I go with it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being there for me and for all of us.
Yeah, you're welcome. By the way, I know there's a couple people here today that weren't here yesterday. Thanks for being here, but that have normally been here. Probably what you noticed is I'm not shooting out. I didn't yesterday, and I didn't today. I'm not sending out reminders that I meet every Monday through Friday. Okay. I figure at this point I'm done doing that. I'm going to be here. I'll shoot out the reminder if I'm not going to be here. How's that? Okay. So I know some people probably are thinking I disappeared or haven't come because they didn't get the reminder because typically instead of 11 or 12, we'll have 15 to 18. So, which is fine. The numbers, that's not really the important thing. But I just wanted you to know that so that if you're like, hey, I just feel at this point that I shouldn't need to remind anybody to be here if they want to be here. But some people expect that. So maybe they're thinking, well, if Kevin didn't remind me that he's not going to be there. Well, I'll send out a message at some point through the meetup explaining what's going on. And I am starting next Monday having another meetup. This one is at 10 o'clock my time, the one you're on right now. I'm not sure what it is your time, depends on where you are, but that one is going to be at noon my time. It will be the same thing in the sense of I'll be doing the same thing. It won't be the same. We're going to start something new tomorrow into some new material, but the material that I'm going to use for the other group is going to start off where you guys originally started. However, this group that we're here meeting at 10 o'clock my time is going to loop back around too, because you're going to get something out of all the stuff that you studied so far by going through it again. And plus I get stuff out of it too. So what I guess I'm saying is this: 10 o'clock and noon will be the same thing, but it'll be different as far as what we're studying. However, all of it is going to be shared with everybody no matter which group you attend, and you're more than welcome to attend both. So if you're interested in doing that, you're welcome to, but I feel that there are people out there that haven't shown up, partly because it just doesn't suit their schedule. I'm not going to do earlier because that's what I reserve for coaching, group coaching and one-on-one coaching. And I'm not going to do a nighttime type thing because I reserve that 2 nights a week for group coaching. And then the rest of the nights are for myself because that's the lifestyle I want. So, but I just wanted to share with you what's coming up so that if you would like to participate, you're welcome to, and so you can have a heads up. And I'm going to let everybody know through Meetup again, probably today or tomorrow. But I'm not going to send out the constant reminder, hey, Kevin is here Monday through Friday. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, then that's not going to be my problem. Because I think you guys know how dedicated I am to doing this. I said I was going to do it, so I'm doing it. And when I decide not to do it, you'll know. If that ever happens. But
Kevin,
I love doing this.
Do you consider it beneficial if we do both or just do one?
Well, that's exactly what I just basically said, is because it won't be the same thing. And here's the other thing. Let's see who's on here with us right now. Okay. Nobody's on here from the group coaching at the moment. One person, I started group coaching yesterday, the officialness of it. And by the way, there are ways for you to join in, even though we're moving forward. There's ways I can have you participate if you choose in the future to join it. But Stephanie, for instance, she was on yesterday morning and last night and this morning. And they were all the same material, but all the conversations were different. Now, as far as the 10 o'clock and noon, it's going to be different material, because they're not going to, I'm not running them concurrently in the sense of, okay, we're on chapter 1 of this book, and at noon, we're going to be on chapter 1 of that book. That new group is going to start where this group originally started November 5th. This group's not done going forward yet through some additional material before I flip it back around and start back over again. So you come to whatever you like. I'm not keeping anybody out. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Plus, I highly recommend, if you would, because for your benefit too, but for the benefit of friends and family or whatever, if you know people, or through your social media or whatever, if you know people that have an interest in making more money and or learning more about how the law of attraction works, please invite them to this meeting, and invite them to the one at noon. Invite them. There's no cost for this. So it definitely has helped you guys out. Hopefully it can help them out too. So if you guys are willing to do that, that would be awesome. Totally up to you though. It's not an expectation. It's just kind of a request. And imagine, let's say you had, going back to network marketing, what if you had a network marketing team of people, of 15 to 20 people that were all participating in this every day? Don't you think they would get better at what they're doing?
That's my thought. That's exactly my thought. Not just for, oh, we're going to make money. Not that, but you and I know network marketing is self-improvement attached to a paycheck.
Yeah.
Right.
Personal development. Yeah.
So yeah, personal development. And that's a big part of why I love it. I love the connection and the closeness and the friendships that come out of it. But I want it to be more than that. I want people to get what they want. And this is really what keeps people in network marketing, is the personal growth, is the growth that they're experiencing. And I agree with you. I've thought about it. I said, wouldn't it be so great if things get to that point where I can actually maybe hire Kevin once or twice a month for the whole team to get together and do a coaching with him once or twice a month. And then they could do with their own thing, whatever they decide to do, they decide to do it. But I do that for a team. Wouldn't that be so awesome?
That could be cool. Yeah, it would be. And you could actually, you could get any of these people started right now for nothing.
Yeah,
fact,
yeah.
the bigger thing, in my opinion, because some of you guys have asked me, maybe some on this Zoom call, but some on others have said, well, could I have like 2 or 3 coaching sessions or something like that?
Mhm.
You know, I don't do it that way. I could do an introduction to who I am and what's going on, but I can't promise anybody any results if I only work with somebody for 3 sessions. That's why I require 6 months.
Yep.
Because then I know not only will you get results, but you will be a changed person at the same time, and you hopefully won't go backwards and you'll continue to move forward. But there's reprogramming one's subconscious mind in a matter of like 2 or 3 days is not going to happen.
I can tell you in that, how long have I been here? I think I didn't come in till almost towards the end of the first book.
Signs of Getting Rich.
Signs of Getting Rich. I didn't come in till the end. And that was partially why I asked you about that noon class. If you're starting that book fresh.
That's what I'm starting fresh on Monday with that book. Yes.
Okay, then I will come to get that, because I came in at the end. Even though I've read it before, I didn't get out of it the same thing reading it on my own as reading it with you and the group, and then the discussions that came out of it. So I'd like to do that. So I'll come on Monday if I, whenever I can.
Yeah, awesome.
But gosh, I forgot what else I was going to say. So I guess I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Any additional comments or questions today?
Just real quick comment. I'll probably try to take in the other group too, because I didn't find out about this one until maybe a month and a half ago. So I kind of came in the middle of it. So I'll probably try to, as often as I can, I'll probably try to attend both.
Awesome. Awesome. Everybody's welcome anytime you want. And the one thought process I would like everybody to think about a little bit, maybe change a little bit, is this. Okay, I'm going to go through it because I didn't hear that part. So that doesn't mean you would. What if I was sharing the exact same thing? Stephanie gets it. If you got the time, Stephanie gets it. She went all 3 times knowing that I was sharing the same information, but God has me say different things every single time. And the discussions that happen as a result of the meeting, depending on the vibration of the group, they're always different too. So I'm not saying you need to show up 5 times a day or anything. You don't have to be committed as I am. I just want you to think differently about, hey, I've read that before, I've seen that before, I've heard that before. Until it actually becomes subconscious for you as your program, then you need it. And even once it becomes subconscious as your program, Bob Proctor knows, even to this day, having done this for all the years that he's done it, he still needs it. He's been doing this for 60 years. Because if you're not choosing what goes into your mind, then by default, other things are going to go into your mind. If you aren't choosing what goes into your mind by default, then something else is going to go in your mind. And you don't want that to be some random thing based upon your environment. I promise you. You want to choose what goes in, because by choosing what goes in, ultimately in the long term, we'll choose what comes out. So, all right. I appreciate you spending the time with us today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Everybody, you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Good day, everyone.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.